Okay, so we've looked at the TR7 before, and as you guys are aware, we've got a bit of TR7 gear we're gonna get together on one of these benches here. There's a TR7A and tuner, and also the L7 amplifier, and this big L7 power supply, which is very big. But what I wanted to show you today was the insides of the workings of the DDS system that these guys have made to go with the TR7, because the TR7 was never known for being completely stable. So the RB7500 DDS VFO, as you're reading there, basically is a really smart device, because it just allows me to, I can still see on screen what's happening here. So as I'm turning the display here, I'll go back to 10 Hertz. So basically the display is following on the bottom here. So top to bottom identical, except for obviously we're getting a little bit, our Hertz rate is changing in the fact that this is completely accurate. And 7190, and that's holding the oscillator here perfectly. And if I want to, I can go off DDS, back to here, and go 7190. Let's have a look. Look at that. See, the TR7 is sort of at 7189.9, but this, oh, to be fair, he's probably a little bit higher there. It's probably about 10 Hertz in it there. 189.99900. But this is a really nice way to lock these radios up. And this is not a cheap option, but if you were serious about using your TR7 with the full lineup, certainly it's the way to go. And I couldn't believe when I looked inside it that there was quite. Hang on, just turn that down a bit. There was quite so much inside. And also the current draw. There's quite a bit of. I initially hooked up a plug pack to it, thinking, "Oh, we'll be right, no worries." And as you'll see from this here, it's drawing about 300 to 400 milliamps, which is not overly huge at all. But the plug pack I hooked up was about 100 milliamps. So of course, I got a display up, and I thought, "Oh, that doesn't look good." And I quickly undid that and thought, "I think this thing drags a bit more than what the supply can handle." Here's here's the handle one we put on there. I think this is a Baofeng charger that we grabbed for quite an error. Very lucky we didn't do damage, and actually that's a fairly good point to make too. That when you surge it like that, it's not smart. On the back, you've basically got connections that come off the DB. First up here, I think it's a DB15 from memory. Then you've got two. Connections, the white cables, both there and there, that come into the back, and of course the other two are the power supply for the TR7. So it's not a little skinny box like a lot of the DDS units. So like I've got DDS units for a lot of different Yaesus and bits and pieces, and I sort of thought, well, why is this one so big? So this is why I wanted to take the covers off and have a bit of a look, because it just had me kind of bamboozled, but there's a lot of functionality that this can do in being able to change VFOs like so. You can do split frequency with your transceived situation here, which I had that's actually on transceive before. So we'll go back in there, and once again, changing from your unit back to the TR7. You can go back to your original VFO anytime you want. A to B VFO, B to A VFO. So really nice. But the thing I like the most about it, look at this. You can go down to 1 Hertz, and you're playing around. It's quite amazing. And look, nice little box. I wouldn't, as you can see, I can come down to a signal here. These are all guys I'm 40. It's Sunday afternoon here, and 40 metres into the US and Europe has been rather busy actually. I've worked a few stations in the other room. It's just for a bit of fun. Now, 1 hertz will get a bit tedious. Obviously, you'll scan through a lot faster. No, that's Samuel. Echo Alpha 1, Delta Alpha, Delta Uniform. No, Delta Lima Uniform. That's it. I just worked him earlier. Terrible. Now look. There's a good example. We're on an old antique TR7, and if Samuel would just talk again, that would really help me a bit. This is the one that's got all the filters, by the way. So this is the one that you can sit there. If I turn this up, if Samuel would just come back, it would help. As you can see, have a listen. These filters, obviously CW. Have a listen to the difference in that. It's just amazing. You can tighten it up. And even on that really wide filter, quite something. So once again, we can adjust Samuel off the DDS box. And I don't know how good your Spanish is, but I know he just said California. That's about the most I got of that. So anyway, that's just a bit of a look. If you're anticipating having a look at buying one of these to chuck onto your TR7, and I think they've got a few models for different other radios. I'm really impressed. I mean, these things are super rock solid. From the moment you turn this radio on, this whole combination here is just rock solid. And I think that's so what we're looking for. Now, obviously, this is not going to move when I'm on that VFO. That's only going to move when I go off the DDS and back onto here and find Samuel again down here somewhere. People may say, I was in a bit tedious, having to use the unit here. Ideally, I would sort of have it to the side of this here, and I think then you've got the same. And this is why they've created this height, because the height matches this perfectly. So your VFO, I think definitely this is your end of the line here, and then you just run your tuners, amplifiers, bits, going down that direction. But yeah, look, as far as look, I always haven't been a great fan of DDS units because sometimes you're taking away the lovely nostalgic value of the of the radio, etc. I've fitted a few things internally into different radios we've got here, and that's great. And I like, look, I'll always keep. I've got a TR7 and a TR7A. I'll keep this unit on the TR7. The 7A was supposedly a little bit more stable, but right now this TR7 is mega stable with that unit on there. That's the matching PS7 power supply. If I know there's one up on VK Ham at the moment, one on TR7, so and hasn't got the power supply. So if anyone buys that other TR7, and that's a good mate of mine too, it's a nice radio, but that's the power supply that you'd be looking for, and they're a very nice supply for sure, big, heavy, and all the above. Oh, and on the one that's sitting in Adelaide that Doc's got, Doc's a very, very astute, articulate guy. I guarantee you that TR7 will follow in the same tradition. That's just Doc. He's ex radio inspector, would you believe it? How's that, eh? All right, well, that's about it. That just gives you a bit of an idea on what the RB7500 DDS VFO does. I'll put some screws back in it before I short something out by something going flying across the room. Probably get the case back on it while it's still working. But I thought it was important to see inside just what the unit was all about as well. 73s from VK3 Charlie Mike on a Sunday afternoon, where as you can see the weather is a bit bleak out there, but what a time to be in here. Much smarter move. 73s, all the best.